13 WMAZ Morning starts now.
Well, we are all quiet here in central Georgia today and across the southeast, but could that change in the days ahead? We'll talk about them coming up.
Investigators continue to look for answers in a shooting on Montpelier Avenue in Macon. What they say happened as people just stood outside of a convenience store.
And final goodbyes for two Cobb County deputies killed last week. Now family and friends are celebrating their lives.
Coming up, I'm introducing you to a Houston County man who decided to bring some laughter into town. I'll show you how just ahead on Scene 13.
Good Thursday morning, Central Georgia. You're taking a live look over the city of Dublin. The time is now 6:31 a.m. here on this September the 15th. Happy Baby Friday. I'm Wanye Reese.
And I'm Caitlin Heck. Yes, we are inching closer and closer to the weekend. And for once, a great weekend ahead, Alex.
Yes, we've got temperatures in the 80s. We've got a lower humidity. It is going to be a fantastic stretch of days here in central Georgia as we look live over Lawrence County this morning. Temperature there 64 degrees with a dew point at 61. So there's a little more humidity in the air this morning than we had yesterday morning, but all in all, not too bad with the northeast wind at about 3 miles an hour. 61 in Macon and in Warner Robins. Throw Byron in the bucket as well. For Forsyth, 62 in Roberta and in Fort Valley, 64 down in Cochran, and 65 waking up in Washington County this morning. Some more 60s down towards the south and 57 this morning in Dodge County, the cool spot on the map. But like we were just talking about, high pressure up towards the north and east. That's spinning in that northeasterly wind, making for a fairly nice morning and afternoon here in central Georgia. Here's what to expect for the day ahead. Temperatures in the 60s giving way to 70s fairly quickly, eventually up to about 85 is what I'm going with for the high temperature today after this cool morning. Coming up in a few minutes, we'll talk about the temperatures warming steadily through the week and into the weekend. The cool mornings continuing, plus the latest on a new tropical storm. Fiona was named yesterday. I'll have the new information for you here in a few minutes.
Well, thank you, Alex. We'll check in with you soon. A drive-by shooting on Montpelier Avenue in Macon leaves one man hurt and two men wanted after a robbery at a dollar store.
And a house fire turns deadly in Monroe County. Let's catch you up on three things you need to know right now. Bibb County investigators are trying to figure out who's responsible for a drive-by shooting at a Macon convenience store. Sheriff's office says it happened just before 9 last night at the M&M grocery on Montpelier Avenue.
Deputies got a report that a group of people were standing outside the store when a dark-colored vehicle drove by and someone inside the car started shooting. A 33-year-old man got hurt and is expected to recover.
This morning, Bibb deputies also looking for two men who robbed a North Macon Dollar Tree. The sheriff's office says it happened around 10 last night at the store on Tom Hill Senior Boulevard. They say two men went into the store with guns, demanded money from the clerk, and then ran off after getting some cash. Thankfully, no one got hurt. But if you have any information on this case or the Montpelier Avenue shooting, you can call Macon Regional Crime Stoppers. The number's there at the bottom of your screen, 1-877-68-CRIME. Again, 1-877-68-CRIME.
A sad story to share with you. A 63-year-old Forsyth woman is dead after a house fire in Monroe County. The sheriff's office says crews responded to the fire yesterday and found Joanne Turner trapped inside. Once crews were able to get her out the home, they tried to save her, but Turner died from her injuries. Investigators are still trying to figure out what started the fire. It's now 6:34 a.m. Let's get a check of your state news. Today, family and friends will say their final goodbyes to Cobb County Deputy Marshall Irvin Jr. He's one of the two deputies killed in the line of duty last week.
Yesterday, loved ones gathered to remember the life of Jonathan Koleski.
John was dependable. He was trustworthy. He was honest to a fault.
Thank John for being such an amazing brother.
John was a warrior.
Definitely heartbreaking. Deputy Koleski started with the Cobb Sheriff's Office around 15 years ago. The 42-year-old was a U.S. Army veteran who served 3 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now,
family and friends gathered at North Star Church in Kennesaw to celebrate his life. You see them there. He and Deputy Irvin Jr. got shot while trying to serve a warrant at a home near Marietta last week.
Irvin Jr.'s funeral happens today at Westridge Church in Dallas, Georgia. Visitation starts at noon. His service is at 2. The 38-year-old started with the Cobb County Sheriff's Office about 10 years ago.
Flags will continue to fly at half-staff at the state capitol building and in Cobb County until sunset. Governor Brian Kemp made that order in honor of the 2 fallen deputies.
Well, today, Governor Brian Kemp and leaders in DeKalb and Fulton counties are expected to make an announcement about Metro Atlanta's healthcare delivery infrastructure. This comes about 2 weeks after Wellstar Health System announced plans to stop operations at Atlanta Medical Center in November. Today's announcement happens in just a few hours at 10 a.m. up at the state capitol.
It's 6:35 now. A woman hopes to give new life to a historic church in Macon's Pleasant Hill neighborhood. The Bobby Jones Performing Arts Center has been on the historic Macon's Fading 5 list since 2016. The building dates back to 1917 and opened as their first Congregational Church. Tansha Kabir closed on the building yesterday and plans to renovate it over the next couple of years. Kabir hopes to turn the lower floor into 3 studio apartments to add affordable housing to the neighborhood. The upper floor will be a community collaboration area. Kabir says giving this building another chance is special because she has a background in dance.
I've always wanted to be able to sort of provide an avenue for people to be able to kind of reach their highest potential. And so for me, this has been that already for so many people, and I love to bring it back.
Kabir says her next step is meeting with some designers to get the blueprints together. She says she hopes to open the space within the next 2 years. It's now 6:36 here on your Thursday morning. Had to think about what day it was, but it's great to see that, the weather is a little bit nicer in the morning for those construction workers or people who are, do landscaping. I'm sure they appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely. The mornings feel absolutely great. The afternoon's still warm, but not bad.
It's the best of both worlds. If you like the cool weather, you get it in the mornings. If you like the warm weather, you get it in the afternoon with not as much humidity. That's the biggest change we're seeing, is that we're not looking at those dew points in the 70s, instead the 60s, and that's going to continue even as our temperatures warm up into the weekend and into next week. But first, let's take a live look at Dublin this morning down in Lawrence County. Current temperatures, they're in the 60s right now, with one exception in Eastman at 57. Not far from the 50s in Monticello, Forsyth and Thomaston this morning, and Macon and Warner Robins sitting at 61 right now. Elsewhere across the southeast, we've got mainly 60s on the board. 65 in Little Rock, Arkansas. How about 61 in Monroe, Louisiana? Columbus, Mississippi, still hanging on to the 70s. Down in Pensacola, Florida this morning, also down in Jacksonville and in Orlando to get their Thursday started down there. But as we head into the day today, the 60s not hanging around for long at all, into the 80s by the noon hour. 85 or so is going to be our high temperature. Some high level clouds developing through the afternoon hours, and then once we get into the evening tonight, those will begin to fade away. Now, this model tomorrow morning has us getting down into the 50s, but I don't think we're going to get quite that cool. I think we're going to be still in the low 60s or so, but it wouldn't surprise me to see 1 or 2 50s sprinkled in, kind of like what we're seeing this morning across the area. And then for Friday, a very small 10% chance of rain. We're just seeing a few showers pop up here on Future View that are possible through the afternoon hours, but the vast majority of everybody will stay dry tomorrow, and that includes for football Friday night. Then into Saturday, the first of what's going to be 2 great weekend days here in central Georgia, which is some increased cloud cover as we get into Saturday evening or so, but that's not going to impact our weather too much. 85 today, 86 for Friday and for Saturday, so yes, trending above average. 88 is our average high for this time of year. We'll be at 90 by the time we get to Monday, but the cool mornings will be hanging around as well. 60s today and tomorrow, but then those will be back into the mid 60s, low 60s, into the mid 60s by the time we get into the end of the weekend. Now let's talk about the tropics this morning. We do have Tropical Storm Fiona. It was named yesterday. A lot of the activity with it is lopsided on the eastern side of the storm, but nonetheless, it's moving towards the west at about 13 miles an hour. Winds expected to intensify to 60 miles an hour. Hang around in that ballpark for a few days before it makes it past Hispaniola to the north. That's important, missing it towards the north there, which means it's not really interacting with the mountainous terrain before becoming a strong tropical storm there Tuesday early in the morning, entering the Turks and Caicos. But the good news is it looks like it's going to be following this path around the Bermuda High. So expect it to make this turn and then hopefully turn back out to sea. That's the thinking, at least as of right now. The stronger the storm is, the closer it'll stay to that high pressure. So we're actually hoping for a stronger tropical storm as opposed to a weaker tropical storm if we want it to miss the United States. If it doesn't do that, then it doesn't have as strong of a grip and it could come closer to the eastern seaboard. So we'll be watching it closely. All in all, I'm not too concerned about it. Just something to keep an eye on here over the next few days. 85, the high temperature today. Cool morning giving way to a warm afternoon. Here's your football Friday night forecast. Probably the best football Friday night forecast we've had so far this year. Expect temperatures in the 80s to cool down into the 70s with sunset right around 7:39 tomorrow night here in central Georgia. Here's your 7-day. 80s giving way to 90s by the time we get to next week. There's that very small chance of rain on Friday. But all in all, get outside and enjoy it because this 7-day, you can't ask for much better. Even though the temperatures are warming up, the humidity is going to remain at least mild as we get into next week.